Hello everyone. I know it's been so long since we posted a video. I hope to continue this and keep posting more stuff. Today we are going to try and automate something I've been dealing with. So I'm moving all my blogs from my Gatsby repository to my this new project that I'm working on. It's called Today I Learned or a Digital Garden. So I'm moving all my blogs from there, from Gatsby to this digital garden. This digital garden is hosted in this website called Gitbook, and it is free to use and it's super easy. And my notes looks something like this. So while that loads, my notes look something like this. So, and I'm trying to move all my existing blogs, which is under bhavaniravi.com, to this new website. I'm moving this primarily because it's very hard to maintain right now. So the problem at hand is, since I'm moving all my blogs, currently it is under blog/slug and whatever that URL is. So currently this is where all the blogs are, but where I want to move it to is actually under this tag/slug. So if you go to notes.bhavaniravi.com, here you can see, like, under Apache Airflow there are so many, and under software engineering there are so many. So I want to like categorize my existing blogs and move it all here. And I have all my old writings here. There are like 10-20 blogs, and I have manually went through them and I have tagged them like this. So today's job is primarily to generate this redirects for each individual blog post. And what we're going to also do is we are going to generate this mapping, and we have to move these files to the respective repo. And all of this we are going to do it with this tags. So the first step would be to read this markdown files, go through this YAML sort of configuration, the metadata, and we are going to process it. So let's start by writing a new file. I'm going to call this process.py. It can be any name. So I usually jot down the steps that I'm going to do. So let's say read all the files from blog directory, and so for those of you who are wondering how this autofill is working, it's not GitHub Copilot. I've stopped using it because you have to pay $10. There is this another thing I'm trying called Tab9. It's not as good as GitHub Copilot, but this works. Next, what we're going to do is, for each item there, for each file, we are going to read the metadata and extract the tag from there. And once you have that particular tag, create a dict mapping of, I'm going to have a mapping dictionary where it's going to be like blog / oh, you also need the slug, right? Extract the slug and the tag from there, and you're going to be like blog /slug to tag / it's going to be a tag /slug, right? And it for this one, for what do you call this, for Gitbook, it's important that you name the files as your slug. So what I'm going to also do is I'm going to take the slug and the title, and I'm going to, this is title.md. So this is how you should name it. So this is a convention that Gitbook suggests for you to set up redirect. Actually, this is going to be the file name, which is the title.markdown. So I'm going to map all my old slugs to the new title. Okay, and then once I have this mapping, I am going to print the redirect mapping in the YAML format. That is step number 1. Copy the file from blog/file name, that is slug.md. I don't know what the file name is actually, like it's not slugs always, so whatever that file name is, because we are processing each file individually. Copy the file name from the blog/file .md into tag / give the title and then the markdown. So this is all the steps that we're going to do, and we will do it step by step. And before I even start coding, I also think through the process a little bit. So I haven't prepared for this. So one thing I don't know yet, most of the things here I can manage. One thing I don't know yet is how do you process that top part, right? The metadata. So that is a question that is lingering. How do we get the metadata from the markdown files? So what I would usually do is go to Google and search whether there is any markdown that I can do this with, and that's what I'm going to do next. Okie doke. So let's go to Google and process, what do you say? Process YAML metadata from markdown. Oh my god, see, there are like already so many suggestions. Parsing YAML out of markdown file, that is exactly what you're looking for. So here we have like a cool question, and this is the YAML, and I want to export the YAML inside. Python formatter parses the front matter and the markdown in the file, placing the markdown part of the content. Okay, so they have suggested some GitHub repository, and when I go to this GitHub repository, there are two things I look for usually. One is when is last updated, and when was it last released. When was it last updated to check whether the project is still maintained, and when was the last released is to see that the latest release, if I do a pip install, right, the latest release that I get is compatible with the Python that I'm using. So this is pretty much in the last year, so it will work. And the next thing would be to frontmatter.load. Okay, the next thing would be to actually try this out, because what's wrong that's gonna happen, right? So I'm gonna activate my virtual environment. I'm using Python version 3.8, good enough. So let's do a pip install. Let's do a pip install. All right, that was pretty quick. The next thing that we are going to do is not to jump to the code. Never jump to the code right away. Just try out if these things are working. And what I'm usually do is like copy whatever they suggest and go for it. When you're writing documentation, please don't do this. It's very annoying, especially if you're like copying and pasting. So post.load of blogs / I need one of the file names. So let me take the first one and put it here. Okay. All right. And load a post from the file name, or you can also do this. It seems you can pass the file, or you can directly do a text. Okay, now I want to see what is there in the post. And let's see, post.content. That is all the text I need. Post dot title. Seriously, did I read it right? Oh, post of title, sorry. Okay, that's good. Now the things we are interested is in the tags. Awesome. So we have the tag, we have the title. If you go back to the thing, you have the tag, you have the title, and let's see if you also get the slug. Okay, that is pretty much everything that we need. So our next thing is directory as the OS module, and we are going to do list there on blogs. So let's see, slash blogs slash. So why am I doing blog slash is because the process and the blogs are in the same area, right? So let's clear this and let's run process.py. Since we haven't printed anything, it's not going to print. So let's print it. Cool. So now we have a list which is of all the file names. Now that's exactly what we need, right? So let's for file name in os.list of blogs slash. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to pass this file name to, if you remember, this particular front matter. So front matter and post equal to front matter dot load of the blog slash file name dot md, or the file name already has md, so you don't have to do the md part. And I'm going to make it a formatted string, and I love this feature. It's the best feature in Python and they've introduced it. So we need two things. So we have the post, and we're going to read the metadata, which is like slug, tag, and the title. So post of slug and post of, I somehow wonder if tab9 is also listening to me. Like, how do you know you have to extract title? Or maybe from the documentation. Not description, of course not. We need slug and the tag are, of course, our tag. So the next thing that we need is the mapping. So the mapping is going to look like this, right? So let's create that mapping. I'm going to create a dictionary called mapping, and in this mapping is going to be mapping of, it's always going to be blog slash and then slug, right? So slug, and the slug is nothing but a slug is equal to the tag, which is going to be this tag, which is equal to f format string and tag slash title followed by .md. Remember, title does not has a markdown like .md. The title also. So now we have all three. Now we have the mapping. So for each file, go through the metadata goes here and extract these things goes here. Oops. Okay, extract these things goes here. We have done that. How do we get the metadata? We have figured that out. Let's remove it. Create a dict mapping. We have done that here. Let's keep it consistent. Okay. And print the redirect in the YAML format. Now let's see how to do that. And we also have to copy this file. Now we have to see how to do that as well. So far so good. Let's print the mapping and see what it is printing, and we can proceed with the rest of the stuff next. Key error tag. Tags maybe? Yeah, tags. And we want the 0th one only. Okay, that is a lot of stuff, but to get a sense of it in Python should be mapped to this particular one. It looks good. If you go here, that is exactly what I need. And that is exactly what they have suggested as well. I might have to keep in mind about the quotes, because here in the example there is no quotes, but I would definitely need quotes. So that is something. Now let's check out how to convert dict to YAML Python. Interesting, really interesting this is. So let's actually try that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create here, I'm gonna import, see how I'm trying stuff, and then like dictionary is equal to 1:1 comma 2:2. This is something I usually do, YAML dot load of t, to see how things really work. Dict object has no attribute written. Why did they suggest that? Some document? Okay, because it's a file. Now that might be a problem. See, sometimes, like some of these are really complicated. Why am I scrolling so fast? Is because like here it's complicated dictionary and I have a very straightforward dictionary, one-to-one mapping, right? So see, something like this might work. YAML dot dump of data, comma out file. It's necessary to produce the format that you want. What is the format that they want? Interesting. Okay, this is actually interesting. I want to try it. So what I'm going to do is I already have the mapping, so I'm gonna like go here, and I'm not gonna go and fiddle around with this file. I'm gonna create this data.yaml, and let's pass the mapping. And I just want to try out what is really going on here. Oh yeah, you also have to import YAML. I'm doing so much of JavaScript these days that I keep forgetting Python. And if I ever do console.log, please don't hate me. And there should be data.yaml somewhere here. Oh my god, that's amazing. Actually, you know what? I do not like this. Because like there is like n, I don't know whether it's text wrap or something. Text wrap. I never mind about that. Wrap, toggle wrap, toggle wrap. I don't think this is wrap. This is an enter. So I'm very scared of this thing. And what is this yes here? Challenge in it's software engineering, for God's sake. Why is there an S? Okay, I am not very convinced of whatever this is doing. So I'm going to do the very simplest age old stuff, which is writing the mapping myself. YAML.dump and all we don't need. So let's remove this. What I'm going to do is actually outfile dot write off, right? And before even doing that, let's actually write this for key, which is key comma value in mapping dot items. What we actually need is a text, right? And let's move this here. This might not be the most, what do you say, most optimized way of doing this, but this gets the job done. So I'm going to have a f text, and this is going to have like key colon value, and this is all I need, literally everything that I need. And for this value I need double quotes, which I'm very specific about. So this is all I need. I'm going to clear out this data.yaml and let's see if that works. Aha. Okay, we need to add like a /n to this. Right line maybe? Yeah, right line. That should do it. Right line is not there. Okay. Then we will add a /n to this, which is, why is this S? That's what I don't understand. Okay, challenges in full text search. What the hell? Okay. What is it named? Challenges in full text search. Weird. What? Okay. Now this is really getting. Okay, FTS something. Yeah, FTS under the hoods. This is the slug. And where is the tags? Oh, makes sense. I haven't done this. That's the problem. I don't know how many. It was all. So again, community. Again, I have done that. So I have to ensure that if any of those are like single word tags, so let's also do that quick check whether if len of tag is less than 2 or less than 3, then print its titles. Okay, so that we will do, but let's also go back here and see what else is weird. It's a YAML, so probably like a space, because it doesn't look like YAML. Yeah, it needs a space. So that is what is up. Okay, let's rerun this. Shopping like a stingy minimalist and end goal. Okay, shopping like a stingy minimalist has, where is the tag? And end goal. All right, cool. Let's process again, and this time there are no blogs like that, and let's close all of this. And I'm going to paste all of my redirects here. Cool. And I also have to check whether all the slugs are right. Yes, let's pick in random. And then all the file titles are also right, because okay, so that is great. That is good. So we have the redirects. I have it in data.yaml and I moved it to the file. So now that file generation part is done. Let's comment it out. And now let's move the files actually. For that, I also have to copy file in Python. Shutil.copy file. Okay, cool. shutil and shutil.copy file, comma, source, comma, destination. Source is f block slash file name dot md, and your destination is f tag slash title .md. And writing specs like this really comes handy, right? Because you know exactly what you're going to do. You just have to find out what the package is, what the syntax is, and plug those things in. If not, you have to think on the fly. So this comes really handy. And one more thing I also have to do is, if there might be a chance, Python OS create directory if not exists, because I know that I have made few directories which does not exist, like made few tags which does not exist. So let's do that. Okay. So the path and the directory name is going to be tag, and if it does not exist, we are going to create a directory called tag, and we are going to copy that file into it. Now I don't want to do it for all the files, so let's just break here and see how it works, and then we will proceed. Okay. That is exactly what I was talking about. Because of this extra md, that is why it is like md.md. So let's try again. So it is supposed to copy fts under the hood, that is the file name, fts under the hood. So this file should have been moved to the title, which is /challenges in, and it is under software engineering, which is the tag. So this works great. I should be worrying about, which is like pushing it to the actual Gitbook itself and see how it reacts to this one, whether we need it or not. Let me do that and continue this. With quite a bit of things, I finally figured that if you see here, the blog is in. So I have to do quite some things here. One is this content configuration, not this content configuration. There was a troubleshooting guide that said, if your file is not there, then it means you haven't added it in summary.md. So I added it in summary.md. And another thing I want to show you is right now, if you do blog/challenges in full text search, it will actually redirect it to this one. So the redirection is also working, and the new file is also in, so it works. The only thing we also need to add is this summary.md, and we have to generate this for summary.md. I'll show you what summary.md looks like. So this is what it looks like, and we have to generate the same file path along with the title. So if we do those two things, it will be good. So that's what we will add right now. We won't add everything directly to this section, but we will manipulate it somehow. We will generate it. Okay. So, and another thing I had to change was the slug is not the title, it's the slug only. So I think I can keep it as a slug itself. So blog/file name /slug, and the slug already has md, so I'm removing the md, and let's go and do it for all the files. Actually, let's break and then ensure that it works for one file, and then we'll do it for all the files. So here, if you see challenges in full text search, yada yada yada, and it should be an md. So okay, so slug.md. Okay, and this looks great. And as far as this is concerned, let's copy this. What you need is, I'm gonna make this a string, a star, followed by square bracket, followed by title, right? The title of the post, followed by the tag, slash, the slug, which is going to be the new file name. Cool. So I just printed this and it kind of comes out okay. So we can I just printed this and it came out okay. So we can use this. And the files are also being copied pretty well. Right now this has been changed to the old file format, which is okay. And we can continue doing this for pretty much all the files. I am almost confident because it can go either ways. So before doing that, I'm also going to do something else, which is .gitignore. This is not important, but because I don't need to be tracking everything, cancel. Okay, now that is comforting, and it only tracks the files that has been changed. So that is great. We will do all the rest of the things later. So now let's run the process.py. Now I've removed the break, so it's going to run for all the files. Oops. Yeah. Cool. So it pretty much moved the files, and it also generated data.yaml. So now it looks more cool. So let's see if this file is there. It is there. And let's see if this file is there, and it is under software engineering. So all the files has been moved successfully. And you also have data.yaml, which we can then move to this one, gitbook.yaml. Cool. So we have moved all the redirects as well, which is great. But I actually don't need the quotes now because it's all slugs. So I'm going to do that. I am going to stop this copy part of the code, which is pretty normal. I also got this printed, so it's okay. I'm going to remove this quotes and then generate this data.yaml again, just to get a sense of it, like this. Okay, this looks more cleaner, more YAML-y, if that is a word. So like, okay, and let's paste this and let's give it the required tab. So I know that works. So how to be productive? Let's also like double check everything is in place. Yes, it's in place. We are so close. Now let's create also another mapping maybe, which is equal to a dict, where you will have this, you will call this tag mapping, and to tag mapping of tag equal to if what do you need, like this one, right? Title tag slug, this is what you need, right? And we will append this. If tag in tag mapping, then you append it, else tag mapping of tag is equal to create a list and keep this. And at the end, what you do, you don't have to generate this, you don't have to do this. At the end of all of this, you will have tag mapping for key, comma, value in tag mapping dot items, print of key for item in value, which is a list. We will print each of the item. And at the end of it, we will give it a new line so that you know the differences. Now let's run this. So I have manually moved all the blogs summaries to the summary. So to recap quickly what we have done, we have loaded all the files, all the blog posts files, and then we extracted the slug title and the tag, and then we did this mapping, and we also created all the tag mappings for the summary.md, and then we copied the files at the end. So we created this YAML file, which is just a mapping of old URL to the new URL. We generated this thing for summary, and we also made copies of these files. What I'm going to do next is push all of this and see if it actually worked. And then I have to move my domain. That is the last step.